Hello and welcome in, everyone. We are so glad you could join us for today's session as a part of our Internship Week series, where we're spotlighting valuable experiences that can help you move your career forward. My name is Hong Win, and I'm a part of the professional and careers and professional development team here at WGU, and I'm so excited for today's session. We are joined by Lindsay and the UnitedHealth Group team here, Emmy and Lizzie, and they are one of the nation's largest healthcare organization. Lindsay is a true leader in early talent recruiting. I am connected with her on LinkedIn, and I can see her passion for creating meaningful opportunities with students and new grads. We're so incredibly grateful to have their team here to share more about UnitedHealth Group's internship program and how you can get involved. So with that, Lindsay, I will go ahead and pass things over to you and your team.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time out of your mornings or your evenings, wherever you are sitting, to be here with us today to learn more about our early careers tech programs. Today, we're going to run through just two of the very many early careers programs that we have, specifically our technology development program and our cybersecurity development program. And I bring along two amazing candidates that are part of both of those programs with me today to answer some questions and tell you about their experiences. So we'll do a quick introductions of just the team that you're going to hear from today. I'll run through a quick overview of the early careers tech programs, and then we'll jump into some time with Emmy and Lizzie specifically. I'll ask them some questions, and we'll hear a little bit more about their backgrounds and experiences, and then have some time for Q&A, hopefully at the end, where we can rapid fire some answers over to you about things that you've learned today. So jumping into introductions here, my name is Lindsay Hennon. I have been with UnitedHealth Group for almost 10 years this year. I started off in a recruitment seat and I've worked my way into an early careers leadership role here. So I support all three of our tech pillar functions. That would be the cybersecurity program, our technology development program, and then our analytics development program. I've loved all things tech since I started here and previously worked in the agency tech world. So just brought all that knowledge into early careers with me. Hannah added in my fun fact here. I do have a massive Lego collection. I actually just had it looked at and by a collector, and it's worth almost $10,000 now. So if you want pictures, I'm happy to send them in the chat at the end. It's my favorite thing to talk about. But I know you were supposed to be hearing from Hannah today. Hannah is one of my senior recruiters, and she is actually stepping in and helping our experienced team right now. So as her leader stepped in to take this off of her hands, but she is one of my fantastic recruiters that also supports all three of those programs that are under me. I'll pass it off to Lizzie to do a quick introduction of herself too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So hello, everyone. I am Lizzie McCracken. I am a full-time associate software engineer at Optum. I graduated from the TDP program just this last winter. So I've only been with Optum for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years if you count my one internship. But yeah, happy to be here.
And then Emmy, how about you?
Yes, of course. First off, thank you to both Hannah and Lindsay and the HR team for inviting me on. It's a pleasure to be here today and to meet you all. I am currently a senior at the George Washington University studying information systems and technology management, and I am also with the cybersecurity development program as an intern this summer, working on vulnerability management. So I am excited to talk to you all and hope that you'll take away a little bit about cybersecurity and the UHG.
Awesome. Thank you both. So I'll jump into just a little program overview to get us started here. So I'll start off with our cybersecurity development program. This is a newly funded in our first year program. So Emmy is part of our first class of cybersecurity analysts that are part of our program. So this is a global group. We do have teams that are sitting in India as well as Ireland for this program as well. And again, just falls into that early careers tech pillar. So under our EIS organization, there's two different ways you can get involved in our cybersecurity program. So we have a 10-week paid internship. So all of our interns start at the beginning of June and they wrap up that first week in August. So yesterday we actually just housed all of our interns here in Minnesota for an internship regional day, and then did those at all of our other locations across the country as well. So we do social responsibility. We bring in some networking sessions. They've got a day full of just games and different things. So all things you get to be a part of, but you'd start that program at the beginning of the summer and work through 10 weeks. It's really very hands-on security work. Again, a lot of that social responsibility and networking, a lot of social events, and you're working on a specific team that's doing real world projects at UnitedHealth Group or Optum or whatever specific area that you're in. just kind of touched on what Intern Day looks like. We did things globally this year. In previous years, they have been all interns in one location, but decided this year to do them by that specific regional location. So yesterday we had all the interns in Minnesota. We catered in lunch, did kind of what we called the Intern Amazing Race, if you're familiar with the show, and just did a bunch of different games, and they were able to win prizes at the end of the day. And then they do final presentations at the end of the summer. So all of our interns are kind of part of what we like to call it that Shark Tank model or showcase model. So you're basically presenting to your stakeholders at the end of the summer to really highlight that work and lessons that you learned throughout the summer. So it's a small celebration that we hold for you at the end too, but you get a chance to meet with senior leaders and share out all of the work that you've been doing throughout the summer. And then we kind of talk a little bit about conversion offers. These will be the same for both programs. So intern evaluations are starting to happen now for all of our interns that are involved in any early careers program across UnitedHealth Group and Optum. So your manager as well as senior leaders are looking through really just all of the work that you've done throughout the summer, your contributions, that kind of specific fit for the teams that they're looking for. And then within about 2 weeks of the summer internship wrapping up, recruiters start making those calls, letting people know if they are getting a conversion offer for a full-time or internship position returning based on your graduation date, or still connecting with you if you are not going to be getting a returning offer with us. Usually we fill our conversion offers are filling about 75% of our programs. We really love that retention rate and having you come back with us, as we kind of talked about. Lizzie did her internship and moved into that full-time role. So we'd love to keep you with us. And we hope that we'll be able to do the same with Emmy when she is done with her program there as well. Outside of the internship, we do a full-time program as well. This is a newer kind of situation that we've rolled out. So in the next program we'll talk about, you'll hear the same kind of rotation. However, this one is 24 months outside of the normal 12-month that we do for our TDP program. So in the full-time rotational program for cybersecurity, you're going to get a chance to actually work in 4 different placements, no matter what your area of interest is. So you've got an opportunity to really dive in to all different areas of the business, whether that's, heads-on global security, working kind of that back end side of security, or those types of things as well. So you'll do the first, second, and then third and fourth rotation. And then at the end, kind of that final placement process looks like a job board, basically internally. You get an opportunity to see all the open positions and talk with managers as well as your leaders and mentors that you've worked with, and see what position is going to make the most sense for you at the end of that. Hannah has highlighted in the middle the Ignition Conference. It is probably my favorite event to attend in all early careers. We bring in all of our full-time program associates that are currently working with us. Everybody is invited to attend, but it's obviously first come, first served, just based on how many spots that we have open and where we do that. We've done it in Dallas. We've been in Miami. I've heard rumor that we are going to be in New Orleans this year. So there is all different locations open, but really the Ignition Conference is just an opportunity for you to come together with all the other full-timers in the company and do a kind of a case study work. You're going to be doing a lot of professional development, networking, and social responsibility. So just a great opportunity to continue your learning with the company and meet other full-time associates that are working with us as well. Jumping into our technology development program, or TDP as we call it. This is my bread and butter. I have started and worked with this program since 2016, so I love to talk all things about TDP. TDP will sit under the Optum Tech pillar, so you will do a lot of work directly with technology and a lot of work with our senior stakeholders as well. So TDP will also offer that internship as well as the 12-month rotational program. Really going to be heads down in that software development lifecycle, a lot of computer science majors in that area. Also a global program. So we do have a team that recruits in Ireland and India again as well. Our India and Ireland partners are very close knit with the US program. So we do kind of try and mirror and mimic those almost to be identical, just a little couple of nuances that might be different there. The TDP internships are usually 10 weeks. Each
Lindsay,
TDP.
sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. I think your
Yeah.
slides are not moving on the
Uh-oh.
share content.
Oh no. Okay. What are we seeing right now?
It's
We're still
the
on the
title
first.
slide. You're just
Oh my
sharing your
goodness.
whole PowerPoint.
Is it sharing now?
Now we see the internships.
Oh my goodness. Okay. How about now? Are we
Sorry, I
seeing
tried to message you on all platforms, but you weren't seeing them.
are you seeing this now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Keep me updated. Sorry, might be that WebEx not working with us. Okay. We'll talk back on the TDP internship. So that is going to be the 8 or 10 weeks. We pop in that 8 weeks because sometimes they do get wrapped short, but there is usually that 10-week internship following kind of what cybersecurity does as well. So you're going to be placed on a project team in TVP. This group works on a Shark Tank style presentation. So really what that means is you're working with about 5 to 7 other interns throughout the summer. You're doing presentations to your senior stakeholders on a regular cadence. And then at the very end of the internship, you'll kind of do that final presentation to those stakeholders and just kind of come up with that final, nuance of what you've been working on, kind of give them the case at the very end, and they'll give their feedback. And again, those are always going to be real world projects. So we are working on at Optum and UnitedHealth Group. The TDP internships are not track based. Like I talked about, they're all going to be software development based. So we'll make sure that you're aligned to a team that makes the most sense of what you would like to do, to kind of keep on to that track. If you do have a software development background or maybe something outside of cybersecurity, we do have other programs that we can always talk about. So if you have any questions on those, happy to connect on that as well. And again, we do that end of the internship conversion process, just like we talked about for our cybersecurity program. Hoping we can see the full-time slide. Is this showing up?
It isn't.
Not.
What is going on?
I think
Okay.
Change it. Like, are you in presenter mode or something?
Yeah,
Now
I am. Is this coming up now?
Yes.
Okay. I might just pop in and out every time if that makes it easier. All right. The full-time program for our technology development program is what we like to call a 4-week boot camp to start. So for that 4 weeks, you're going to be in an orientation and kind of onboarding, which requires you to be in office with us. So it need to be one of our core locations. Really during that 4 weeks, you're just learning all things immersive to the technology development program. You're learning about the business. We're getting you caught up in any trends or tools that we're using at the company. And then on completion of that boot camp, you'll be working in that full-time team that you'd be on kind of like that computer science or again, software engineering related position. We do work in a hybrid model for this position. So you would be required to be in the office about 60% of the time. We did just implement a return to office kind of plan that we're looking at UnitedHealth Group with the new addition of Steve Hemsley returning as our CEO. He feels that more productivity is done in office. So you would be required to be in there 3 or 4 days a week on average to the site that you were hired at. So that one again is 12 months. And at the end of that, you will be able to be placed into that final placement. And I'll actually probably have Lizzie talk more about that when we get over to her and her experience on what she's kind of been doing in the full-time space there as well. That's my gist on kind of our 2 programs here. Let's see. Are we able to see this slide? Nope.
No.
On full time.
Oh my goodness. I have no idea what is going on. Are we able to see now?
Yes. Yeah. I think
Yes.
you're just sharing like your whole PowerPoint window. Like we can see the sidebar and everything. So
What? I'm trying to share it. Let's go back in here and let's just see. I'm going to stop sharing and then just share everything right now. And maybe that will work. Let's see. I apologize. You would think I would be a lot better at the techie side of thing, but I'm not.
if you
Okay.
can't tell on your end,
Yeah, don't lie. Okay. Are we able to see
There.
this slide at the beginning? Okay.
Yes.
How about now?
Yes.
Perfect. You got it.
Okay, let's go back in. Okay, so we're going to go back in to talk through that application process quickly. So if you're interested in any of those 2 programs, we'll kind of walk through what that looks like now. So you'll do your initial screening. So you'll submit over an application to us. One of our recruiters will be reviewing those applications, making sure that you meet all of the qualifications for the role and that your resume lines up for what the program is looking for. The first round interview is going to be what we call a higher view recorded interview. I'll be honest, these are probably the most awkward thing you'll ever do. You're recording yourself answering some questions that we've asked you, and then we review those back. So don't feel like you have to have every answer perfectly spot on. It's okay to be nervous. They're really just behavioral based, just getting to know your work style, kind of your thought process and things like that. Round 2 is going to be a virtual live 2-way interview with one of our hiring managers through one of our programs. So this is going to be more technical based questions, kind of the more applicable to whatever program you are looking to get into. So it could be very cybersecurity based or very software development based. Usually about an hour long. We try and schedule those pretty quickly after your first round interview. We like the whole process to take less than 2 weeks for you. Once that final round is done, you'd be either receiving an offer from one of our recruiters or receiving feedback as to why we're moving forward with other candidates at that time. And then kind of that in between offer and program start could vary based on when you get your job offer. So we've got students that will submit their application in early September and not start with us until June. We send out lots of keep in touch emails. We make sure that you're getting involved with other interns that are going to be starting or other full-timers so that you're not walking in blindly on first day, but we make sure that you've got all kinds of different news articles and things from us throughout that process as well, up until your first day with us. So a lot of news from us, a lot of emails that you'll get. We want to make sure that you feel as welcomed and as encouraged as you can prior to starting with us, either in June or July, based on your start dates with us for either full-time or internships. Let's hope this changes. Does this work? I'm hoping the quiet means it moved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So here's what this will look like for all of you on this call with me today. You're obviously attending the virtual session here with us. I will have a QR code at the end of this PowerPoint deck that you'll be able to scan. I'll actually probably have you take a screenshot of it, or I can have it sent over to you so that you're able to scan that. That QR code will have you input in your contact information for all of our 2026 job opportunities. From there, the recruiter aligned will reach out to you. It'll be a confidential link. So usually when we post our positions online, we receive upwards of 1,000 applications in a day, to sometimes 15,000 in a year. So we really try and just make sure that candidates like yourselves are getting that kind of candidate care that you deserve. So we send things in confidential links. So we usually send it in an email, and it won't be posted on our external job board, just to kind of cause less mayhem for our recruiters when they're reviewing all of those candidates as well. This is a very highly competitive program, so we do try and tell you to apply sooner rather than later if you are interested. We usually give a window of about 48 hours to submit your application. Once you've submitted and completed that application, like we just showed you, they will be reviewed by those recruiters, and then they will reach out to you with next steps. So a pretty quick process. We try and make it as less clicks as possible for you, and try and make it as easy as possible as well. That's a little bit just about our programs and our overview here. So I believe next up is for me to talk a little bit about Lizzie, or have Lizzie talk a little about herself. So I'll pass it over to her.
Much. So hello, everyone. I've been trying to answer some of your questions in the chat. So again, I am Lizzie. I just graduated the TDP full-time program this past winter, and I've been on my team specifically for about a year now. So I work in this is a long word, so Enterprise Technology and Information Platform Services, or ETIPS is the organization that I work in. So we do a lot of like cloud-based stuff, platform stuff. But my team specifically, we are the contact center conversational platform, which is we are building a platform to be the center for all of the voice bots that get routed through UHG. So like when you call in and you're talking to a robot lady, we are working on building the platform for all of the robot people. So yeah, it's a really interesting place to be right now, with AI and just all the things that are developing in the chat world industry is really interesting. So I really like that a lot. I do a lot of back end code, a little bit of front end, but yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing in my position right now. But in the past, I did go through the TDP internship program. So I did one internship with UHG, I believe it was 2 summers ago now. So that was the 3-month internship with the Shark Tank model. I was put on a team with 3 other TDP interns, and we worked on a project. And then if you're unfamiliar with the Shark Tank model, it's kind of like you work on a project and then present it as it goes along to stakeholders, or not necessarily stakeholders, but people pretending to be stakeholders. So it's higher ups in the company, just to kind of get you ready for real life presenting and things like that. So yeah, it's a really cool program. You get really good feedback and you learn immediately. So yeah, did the TDP internship and then got the full-time return offer and came back because I loved it. So yeah, oh my gosh, Eliane, you're so sweet. So yeah, let's see. I joined the TDP intern bootcamp 2024 or 2023, and then started as a full-time in 2024 and graduated in 2025. So we are here now, and I do a lot of engagement at the office. I specifically work at the Optum headquarters in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. One of my favorite things to do, or about UHG in general, is all the fun stuff that we get to do. So I'm part of the Employee Community Council, which is kind of like a group of people that try to do fun stuff around the office essentially. And they have that at all of our different major sites. So I'm part of the Minnesota one, and we plan a lot of events just to kind of get people engaged. It was really fun. We had a United in Hobbies event, United Health Group, you know the gist. So it was like a hobby fair, and it was really cool because like you don't know what everybody does at United Health Group. Like even just talking to people, like there was someone that did cosplay, and then someone's hobby was just penguins. Like they just loved penguins, so they brought a bunch of penguins.
I think
It
I
was
saw
awesome.
that booth.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was one of the most popular booths. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And yeah, I have
Do you
fun.
want to highlight that first bullet point and let everybody know who Sandeep is and tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. So Sandeep is the CTO of Optum Tech. So he's pretty much the highest that you can get in Optum Tech. And I actually got the opportunity to work with him through the TDP program. He was looking for, some interns or TDP people, kind of early careers, folks to help him out with a task. And he went to TDP and was like, give me your favorite TDPs. And then I was one of them. So just being a part of the program, I was able to I'm on a first name basis with him now. And like, I got a lot of great connections just from being a part of this program. So it's really amazing. And yeah, just going on more there, when I started, I felt like a pretty inadequate software engineer. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I've written code, but I don't know. It's interesting leaving school and then going to a full-time position. But the boot camp really set us up for success. The TDP program in general did. So I've kind of come 180 and I feel a lot more confident now. And I've like led releases by myself. And instead of being the person that's like asking everybody for help, now people kind of started coming to me for help. So it's really cool that I feel very well rounded from the program and the work that I did. So yeah.
Cool. Well, do you want me to ask you some questions now, or would we like to let Emmy talk and then kind of have you guys go back and forth together? What do you guys feel is the best kind of way to do this?
Maybe we can go back and forth together so
Yeah.
Emmy can give her intro now.
Awesome. Yeah, let's go
I
ahead and
agree.
talk a little bit about Emmy. Can we see Emmy's slide, everyone?
I can see my own slides, so that works.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Go ahead, Emmy.
Yeah, so just to reintroduce myself, my name is Emmy. I'm with the cybersecurity development program this summer. I'm also at the George Washington University studying information systems. Let's talk a little bit about my placement and then the projects that I'm working on. So I am currently a remote intern with the Threat and Exposure Management team under Global Cyber Defense, which is under the Enterprise Security and Resilience Office. So lots of abbreviations, but you will certainly get accustomed to it. So your projects will depend on your placement. So I do know of other interns who are working more on data visualization projects and Python scripting, but because of my office and the nature of their work, I am doing a lot of identifying, scanning, and remediating vulnerabilities. So that involves getting used to the tools that we use, whether they're internal or external, like Google Threat Intelligence, Expanse, and Shodan, and then just opening and closing tickets on our internal platform, which helps us track our processes. I've also been working a lot on system documentation and process improvement, basically where you just document down the internal systems and processes that you're using to complete your task. I've also had a lot of opportunities to shadow different teams. So if you're interested in a different team, you have the opportunity to just reach out and ask questions. So I'm currently shadowing the cyber threat intelligence team. I've spoken to the cyber threat management team. I've spoken to people working on AI and red teaming. And I've also had the chance to speak with our data engineering teams. So there are a lot of opportunities to get involved throughout the entire organization and just not within, one pigeonhole. I suppose I'll also touch a little bit on what I love most about working at UHG, and I would say the people are most definitely the best part of it. You have unlimited resources and opportunities through this internship. not only through the vast resources that UHG offers, but also knowledge through human capital. And I would encourage strongly for everyone to seize that opportunity, because everyone whom I've spoken to has been so incredibly gracious with their time, and they've been willing to demonstrate the projects that they're working on and help me get more involved with the area that they're working on. So you can set up meetings with anyone you like and have all the mentorship sessions you want. And I would strongly encourage that type of experience to anyone who applies to this program. So yeah, that's a bit about me and my experience, and I will now leave it open to questions.
Yeah, awesome. I'm going to throw some at both of you just first. Would love to hear just about your recruitment experience. Maybe if you could just talk a little bit to everybody listening about how your experience went, kind of what that timeline was like. I know each one of you has probably done something a little bit different, so would just love to give some examples on what that looks like for everybody.
For sure. I can start. And then I also wanted to touch on, I forgot to kind of talk about the different tech stacks that I've used and
Yeah.
like how different my roles have been, which I think might add context. So for recruitment, I got pretty lucky in the fact that my twin sister had a job at UHG before I did. So she gave me a great recommendation. I think that definitely helped. But I got the internship. It was literally my last chance. It was my senior summer. I only had one semester left because I was graduating in the fall. So I was able to get an internship just that last summer. And then I was able to secure the full-time role. I got the offer pretty soon after the internship finished, I would say. I knew pretty early that I was getting the role. But we kind of had to wait to start all the onboarding and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a pretty smooth process. It was pretty quick since I had my internship and my full-time position in like 6 months. So it was pretty quick and smooth for me.
Good. I love to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to Hannah for that. But back to, I just want to touch on the different things that I've done while I've been with UHG. So I'm part of the technology development program, to reiterate. When I was on an internship, there's kind of a plethora of different projects that you could get placed on in your internship. Whatever teams say, raise their hand and say like, hey, I'll take an intern. That pretty much is a go. So that spreads across a wide variety of teams all across the organization. I will say the intern projects recently have been more AI focused. I have been helping out with the TDP interns at our office, and all of their projects actually are very applicable and very interesting, and I was very excited to hear about them. So it's things that people are going to be using after you finish the project. Mine specifically was working on back-end code. It was giving customers permissions to access data, which was something I'd never done before. The language was Go, if that means anything to anybody, Golang. So yeah, and then when I joined the TDP program full time, I did 2 different rotations. So my first rotation, I was actually a data engineer. I was technically not a software engineer anymore. I was doing mainly data stuff. So I was doing a lot of SQL. I was building reports. I was connecting a lot with product teams. And yeah, building out reports for providers and practices. There really wasn't a whole lot of coding. The only coding that I did was like SQL, query language. So my first rotation was very different from what I'm doing now, which is full stack, front end, back end. We do a lot of pipelines. We don't even have a product person right now. So I have a very different roles that you can be on. And I think that's one of the great things about the TDP program is you can get a little flavor of everything and see what you like. So yeah, sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
No, that's awesome. No, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to call out to Lizzie had the opportunity to be part of the program when we were still doing several different tracks. A lot of those tracks that she's speaking of are now part of our analytics program, which is going to be more focused on data. So I don't want that to get confusing. And Lizzie was just one of those ones that got to go into a little bit of everything. So I'm glad that you have that opportunity. But would love to hear from you, Emmy, on how your experience was going through any of our recruitment or onboarding process.
Yes, of course. So I just wanted to point out that this was not pre-planned, but what Lizzie said was like nearly my story down to a T, because I also have a twin sister and I also am graduating in the fall, and this is my last internship before I graduate. So it's just like, hold on, why is this like such a coincidence? Because we did not like converse about this before this call. So it's just like, what the heck? Anyways,
I
so
stole your
yeah, I'll talk
story.
a little
I'm
bit about yeah, I was just like, wow, this is like uncanny valley. Okay. But yeah, I had a twin sister who went to a women in cybersecurity conference where Lindsay was actually at the booth, and then we connected over LinkedIn, and then I went through the interview process that went by very smoothly, and eventually onboarded. So yeah, that was my experience. Got that through a connection. So what I should say right now is I highly recommend joining Women in Cybersecurity. You don't have to be a woman to join. Allies are absolutely welcome. If there's a Women in Cybersecurity student chapter or something of the sort, go and join that at your university or start one if there isn't. Employers really value any kind of cyber adjacent experience that you can get. So even if that's just being a part of your club and organizing events or like doing CTFs, that will help you stand out to recruiters. And definitely just go to different types of cybersecurity conferences and talk to recruiters, and that's the best way that I would recommend you connect with different recruiters inside the tech sphere.
Awesome. I think you both did a really great job just talking through, why you love the company and the projects that you're working on. So if you could sell the internship or full-time program to those listening right now, how would you do that for us? Then we can jump in just to open Q&A for everybody else.
What I would say is that UHG cares a lot about early careers. Like they are very enthusiastic. They love to help you out. They love to just throw you a party. It's very fun, and it's like a great way to kind of enter corporate America or just the world in general as an adult. They do a lot of helping you out because they know that like you're fresh out of college or still in college, so they don't expect you to know everything, and they're very helpful and gracious. So yeah, I'd say it's a really great place to be, like when you're just fresh out of college, don't know, well, speaking for myself, don't know that much. It was great.
I love it. It works.
Yeah.
How about you, Emmy? You're in the first year of a program that is brand new to the organization. Do you think that there's anybody that else should be joining you this next year when we get things going? What would you say to those that you were talking to that might be interested? Or, if you were at the WeSys booth with me, how would you sell that program for us?
Yeah, so I would say what I mentioned before was that people in relationships are integral to working at UHGA. I think I know that I've made connections here that are going to be lifelong. They're going to be my lifelong mentors. And I would really and strongly encourage you to capitalize on those relationships because they're the people who are going to take you far in life. People across the board have told me technical skills can always be acquired, but relationships are forever. So just make sure that you're really investing in that and just putting your best foot forward. Like come prepared with questions for your mentors, come prepared to meetings, and always just try and be involved in as much as you can. Identify what your sources of interest are, how can you profit off of that, and then basically just go for it. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and basically seize the day, because I think at the end of the day, opportunities aren't going to come to you automatically. You're the person who needs to make the most of what you're doing here. So I would just encourage you all to take that mindset with you and do that at UHG. And secondly, I would also like to touch on the fact that you don't need a cyber background to become a cybersecurity analyst. A lot of people on my team actually transition into cybersecurity later in life. So that proves that you don't need a certain major or degree to really transition into cybersecurity. What you need is a openness to learn and an intellectual curiosity that never dims down. And that's something that's really served me really well inside of this internship. People aren't saying like, "Oh, you're an information systems major. That's really cool. You must know a lot." No, I think people are really commenting on the fact that, like I am passionate, I am motivated, I know what questions to ask, I know how to, navigate myself inside a meeting. And I think that those are the skills that are really going to take you far in life.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you both so much. So I think we've left a good chunk of time at the end for questions from everybody. I am going to just go to the next slide that you briefly saw there. I'll leave that up for about 5 minutes, then I'll stop sharing my screen, but I'll make sure this PowerPoint gets sent out. This next screen you're going to see will be that QR code. So if you want to start scanning that and adding in your information, feel free to do that. But then I'll pass it back on over to anybody that wants to start fielding questions. I'm sure a lot of them are going to be for Lizzie and Emmy. So I'll just kind of be here to keep this open for everybody, but would love to just have those questions filtered. I'm not sure, how you would like to do that best on your side.
Yes, thank you so much, Lizzie and Emmy and Lindsay, for your great insight. I think you guys touch on a lot of really valid and strong points about internships, but then also about transitioning into a full-time opportunity as well. So we'll go ahead and open it up for questions here. Lizzie, I know you've been doing background work, you've been answering a ton of these, so thank you so much. Addison, our experiential and internship managers in here as well. She's dropping a lot of good resources. Before we transition in, I do just want to do a quick reminder that you focus your questions relevant to today's topic, and then just avoid anything that's specific or personal questions. If you think of something later on, you're more than welcome to email us as well. We'll make sure we get back to you. So, and if I miss any, please feel free to drop them in the chat again as well. So I think there were a couple of questions just regarding internship opportunities in other fields. And I did take a quick look at the UnitedHealth Group page, and it lists off other different industries. But do you guys have events or informational sessions specific to those industries that you host?
I can take this one. So we've got different recruiters aligned to all 13 different areas that we hire for across early careers. So I have specific recruiters that are aligned to marketing and sales. I've got specific recruiters that are aligned to our PDev interns, so our people development interns. So my biggest recommendation for that one is to apply to any of those roles that you see. If you do have specific roles, I can do my best to get you aligned with those. It's just really hard for each recruiter to field all of those applications and then do those one-on-one connections. We will start posting on LinkedIn about all of those events that we'll be doing in those specific areas pretty soon. So make sure that you are following myself or Hannah on LinkedIn. We do share all of those events, and then we do post those on the Early Careers website as well, kind of like where will we be. So we'll post a lot of those. So just make sure that you're following those websites or staying up to date with what the Early Careers site is posting. We'll start doing those events probably that early to mid-September timeframe.
Awesome. Thank you, Lindsay.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was another question I think was just really fantastic to highlight, asked about imposter syndrome, what we get asked a lot. And I know, Lizzie, you did drop some resources, but if you have any top tips or ways that you would like to share, I think our students and attendees would love to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. So usually the first thing that I say to people is you were chosen to be here, because usually I'm talking to new interns or new full-time hires that are struggling with this same thing. So you're meant to be here. You wouldn't have been chosen to be here if you weren't. They're expecting people to be kind of beginner level. One of the people in my cohort was a biology major, and she literally had little to no coding experience at all, and she's thriving now, and she absolutely loves her job. Everybody on her team is really helpful and has been with getting her up to speed, because she still is lacking a lot of the computer science knowledge that a lot of us might have gotten through school, but she's still doing really great, loving her job, and everybody is very supportive and really accepting of people who might have imposter syndrome, because I think everybody has it. I've even talked to my managers about it, and they say that they have it too. I think it's kind of impossible to feel secure and I'm doing everything that I should be doing. I think that's kind of an impossible task. So it's more just being comfortable with the feeling, because it's something that's never going to go away. Totally. I mean, honestly, it's always going to feel like there's somebody that might be doing better than you, but I have learned that everybody has their strengths, and you're here for a reason, and you're your biggest supporter. So you kind of have to learn to accept that you're never going to feel like you're exactly perfect, but that can be your perfect, yeah. I think it's a little bit easier to talk about it when you've been selected for a position and you say like they picked you. Like, stop hating on yourself. So
I can say from
Yes.
the recruitment side too. I get a lot of times candidates say, I didn't deserve this, or they're going to realize, you guys are going to realize I don't know everything. And at the end of the day, you didn't get here by accident. You're not a fraud. You're growing and you're learning, and we picked you for a reason. Just kind of to what Lizzie said, and I think that's the more real and more powerful side to them than perfect will ever be, is that you deserve to be here. You deserve everything that's coming for you. So that's kind of one thing I always tell candidates too, that feel like they don't know what they're doing. They're not doing as good as maybe someone on their team. And so that's just a helpful little tip I always share too.
Awesome. Thank you, Lindsay and Lizzie. I see a lot of questions here, maybe just about how to stand out as a candidate or anything notable that maybe they can put on their resume or prepare for their interview. Any tips on that?
Yeah, I could take that one again. I think the biggest thing is always making sure your resume is to date and talking about what you specifically have done. I see a lot of resumes that come through that are speaking about just group projects or things that they've worked on with others. Your resume is for your time to talk about you and to really hype yourself up. So take out that we or us and make sure it's I did this, I led this in a group setting, those types of things. It's all about talking about you, and it gives an opportunity for us as recruiters and those who are reviewing your resume to really learn what your skill set is and where you took initiative and where you took the lead on things, especially in a program that's kind of as cutthroat as the TDP program or CSDP program. So really talk through that, make sure that it's clean, that it's updated, that you've always got your most recent projects on there. Talk about what you're doing in school or maybe extracurricular. So just things that really sell you as a candidate. I think that Lizzie and Emmy could speak to their resumes too. They've gotten through the program, so they've done great things on that. So any tips or tricks that they have, I'm happy to have them talk to those too. Or if they don't want to, that's okay.
No, sorry, my unmute takes so long. I was gonna say any sort of like leadership you can throw in there. Even if it was just like you were a camp counselor. It's like having people under you and you telling them what to do and you understanding and being respectful of people's boundaries and being able to communicate things in an effective way is really important. And yeah, if you see any sort of leadership experience, it kind of transfers to like managerial a little bit. So that's always good to put on there.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say volunteering and extracurricular activities are typically underestimated on a resume, but I think when you have little to no work experience, that's your way into a job. Just keep on tailoring your resume to different jobs and make sure that you are listing out those bullet points inside a situation, action, result manner. So make sure that you are tailoring your resume to each job, and also just trying to put on as much activities that you've done. Like, I'll talk about my first internship, which was not with UHG, but I got that because I was a volunteer at my local library, and that wasn't anything impressive. But because I was able to market that as like a customer-facing position, I was able to get my next internship. So I think really anything goes when you're looking for an internship. So just try and make the best of your situation.
I think there's a handful of questions here, maybe just talking about how to look for these opportunities. Lindsay, I know you mentioned following you and Hannah on LinkedIn. I also dropped the link in there for the talent community, so signing up for those alerts there to get the notifications once an opportunity becomes available. Was there any additional places or things that they can tune into to be notified about these opportunities?
Yes, I'm going into the chat. Let's hope I can get into the chat specifically over here so that I can pop in that link. I can share directly into the chat the link to our job board, and that's going to show you any open position. There's not going to be that many right now just because we are in the middle of getting ready for the season. But that link right there is going to tell you all early careers positions and what's going on at what the early careers teams are doing. You'll also see through that specific area too, as you go and scrolling down into that, you can kind of look at the other corporate functions that we support. So the grad programs, the sales, the corporate side of things. And there's a little video that it plays at the bottom there too, from talking about some of our other events and things that we do. So you'll be able to see a little bit of everything about early careers in that space. So it's a great resource to just kind of keep you up to date on what we're doing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions, please feel free to drop them into the chat. We just got one here from Scott. How many are selected for a software engineering TDP?
I can't share it out loud right now. I'm not able to share out demand specifically. I will just say it's a number less than 100 this year. So again, very cutthroat in that sense. We are going to do a lot of conversion offers. So we'll look to do some net new hiring, but I can't just give that exact number. Otherwise people start to figure it out.
Thank you, Lindsay. Let's see. Are these internship opportunities open to grad students?
We do accept grad students. I will just say the pay rate is going to be more based at that undergrad level, and those are set and structured rates across all of our programs. So there is no way to kind of talk through any different increases in that. They are all set by specific location. So more than willing to, happy to talk to anybody about a grad position too. We do have grad specific internships, but these are going to be more tailored to just undergrad and kind of that compensation wise, where those folks in the grad space are usually looking for a little bit more compensation.
Awesome. Let's see here. Are there part-time positions?
We do not. All of our internships and full-time roles will be 100% full-time.
Okay. Let's see here. I think, of course, a lot of questions on remote opportunities. Lindsay did mention in the beginning that they are looking at that RTO. I think the best way is to continue to check their careers webpage, and then usually on job descriptions, they'll list the on-site office, if it's a remote opportunity, hybrid. So definitely recommend checking out their career page there.
I will say all early careers roles will be in person. We do not offer any remote roles, especially for our internships. Those will be 100% in person too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then I think there was a comment earlier about housing. Lizzie, I saw your answer in there. For internship roles, you guys do provide housing.
Yes, that's correct.
That's pretty cool. That's a big plus.
Yeah, it's a good sell. We love that one.
Yes, yes. What are some things you can do to stand out as an applicant when you have, or for technical slash skills and characteristics?
Yeah, again, that one just kind of talks to just anything specific to making sure your resume is tailored in your interviews. Again, talking through, maybe knowing more about the company or sharing things that you've learned about the company or why you want to work with us. Just really kind of selling that you did your research on the company. Making that yourself approachable at events. I know that, I connected with both these candidates and at a different career fairs or things like that. So coming up to us when you see us and introducing yourselves, sending those, tailored messages on LinkedIn and things like that so that we get to keep that one-on-one engagement with you there. So just making sure that we're able to remember your name just by those, little interactions and things like that.
Awesome, awesome. Are there more technical roles in Colorado, or in the future, will there be any?
We do not have an office for any roles that are going to be technical in the company for our early careers. The cybersecurity program is a remote position, so you could sit in Colorado and do those. However, for our technology development program, that's going to be specific to Minnesota and then Boston right now.
Awesome. All right. I'll just give it another minute
We're
here.
asking, sorry, I know some people were asking about when applications open up. Lindsay, are you able to share that?
Yeah, applications will again be that early September timeframe. We are just in the process of getting that final demand situated, and our recruiters are building out strategies and making sure we've got our requisitions done. I just started getting in those recs to my web top here on my internal system. So hopefully soon they will start to come.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's see here. We'll just give another minute for questions. And I know you mentioned connecting with recruiters, reaching out to recruiters. Do you have any tips on maybe what that message would say? I know a lot of times people will maybe reach out and say like, hey, I applied, haven't heard back, kind of that typical template. Do you have any tips on something that might be more of value?
Yeah, making sure that they're tailored to the position you applied to. I think we get a lot of those just bland, messages that are saying, I would like to talk to you about this. Well, there's, there's 500 of you on this call. There is only one of me. So I can't do an individual call with everyone. Well, I wish I really could, just like my recruiters would say. So giving us a couple of reasons why, I think I'm a perfect fit for this role. Here's why. Those kind of things catch my eye more. And if you say you've looked over the job description and you are really excited about the, the potential of being on this so-and-so team, or you've talked to so-and-so, those are kind of things that catch our eye a little bit more. So making them tailored.
Awesome. And I think we had a question here. How is the process after the program to switch to a full-time job?
Lizzie, can I hand that one to you? Because you're kind of looking at what
Yes,
that looks like.
for sure. So I think this is definitely going to differ person to person. For me, it was a little bit difficult. I do have ADD, so I have a hard time paying attention, staying focused, getting myself to do things. So going into the office for 8 hours every day when I was like used to not doing that was quite difficult. So it takes a little bit of persistence and perseverance and kind of like putting your big girl or big boy pants on. And it's UHG makes it as easy as it possibly can be for you. They give you pretty much more information than you would need starting out as like going from never having a full-time corporate role to all of a sudden a very corporate job working in an office. They do a really good job at easing you into that and kind of like making you aware of all the different benefits that you might have, or your 401k, stuff like that. I know that those things really overwhelmed me at first because I was like, oh, now I have all of these things to take care of, but they do a really good job at making sure that you understand what you're getting yourself into, and they have a lot of resources and stuff like that for like I just had a meeting with a financial consultant because I still don't really get all the benefits that I'm getting. So they make it a lot easier for you, but I think if you struggle with being, I don't know, attentive for long periods of time, it might be a little bit difficult to switch to a full-time job. So I'd say internships are like a really good practice for that. I made the mistake of kind of not trying as hard as I should in my internship, and I think that negatively affected me in a way that I wasn't ready. When they did everything to get me ready, I just didn't take advantage of it. So I think taking full advantage of any internship opportunities is also going to make the switch to the full-time job a lot easier. So, yeah.
Thank you, Lizzie. That's great advice. One more here. Is it guaranteed or is there additional rounds of interviews for the full-time conversion?
Lizzie, do you want to talk to that one too?
Oh yeah, the full-time conversion. It's not guaranteed. If you're an intern, you're not guaranteed to get the full-time role offered back to you, and it kind of depends on what the demand is every year. Like
Yeah.
Lindsay's still waiting on what the demand is, but it's typically 75%. So I'd say most interns will get an offer for a full-time position, but it's not everybody. So there still is kind of a need to stand out.
Yeah, and no need to interview again. If you're getting a conversion offer, you do not have to interview again. If you do not get an offer, we usually ask that you wait 1 year to apply again, and then you would need to go through that full interview process again with us, but not if you're getting that conversion offer. And same with if you're wrapping up at the end of the full-time program, you do not need to interview to kind of go into those. You kind of get an opportunity to talk and connect with everybody, but just making sure that you're the right fit for the team, but no need to do, a full-on interview there.
Awesome. That's very good to know. I'll just give it another minute or so here. And if you do think of a question later on, you can always email us. Just as a reminder, this was recorded, so we'll follow with that email. We'll share some of the resources that were talked about today. We'll highlight the careers page for UnitedHealth Group as well. And then like Lindsay mentioned, September will be when the next round of opportunities for internships will come out. So make sure you sign up for the talent community, and then you follow Lindsay and Hannah and the recruiters, and they'll be able to share that information with you. So we'll go ahead and conclude today's session. Thank you all so much for being here and for your great questions and engagement. Do keep an eye out for that follow-up email with the session recording. And we do have a brief feedback survey. It's just 2 questions, and your input helps us continue to bring these impactful events to the WGU community. And of course, we like to extend a huge WGU thank you to Lindsay, Emmy, and Lizzie, and the UnitedHealth Group team for joining us today. We're so appreciative of your time and insights and your commitment to supporting early talent. It's very clear how passionate you are about creating opportunities, and I know our students gained so much from today's session as the many thank yous come through. So thank you everyone so much for joining. We hope to see you at an upcoming event. Until then, take care and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Talk to you all soon.
Yes, thank
Bye.
you.
Take care.